Hey guys, welcome back to TTMR. We're back with me, Sean, and Zinx, and today we will be reviewing the first episode of the brand new Marvel series, She-Hulk, with this first episode being titled A Normal Amount of Rage.
This episode of She-Hulk, which is a new series that was released on Disney Plus recently, follows the origin of how Jennifer Walters becomes a Hulk. What follows in this origin is Bruce Banner and Jen are in a car together as they drive on the road when a Sicarian aircraft blocks their way and the vehicle swerves off the road. The car, toppling over and severely injuring both our characters, results in major gashes in both Bruce's and Jen's arms, which causes some of Bruce's blood to find its way into Jen's arm, providing her with new Hulk abilities. Bruce, who is clearly distraught about the situation and can tell that Jen is disturbed about this new life that has come upon her, tries to help her out on becoming a Hulk. Jen, though she makes significantly more progress than Bruce was expecting, ends up rejecting the lifestyle to the point where she gets into a fight with Bruce. Bruce, who sees that he cannot change her mind, allows her to go back to her boring life.
Initially, like many, I thought this show was not going to be as amazing as it led up to be, mainly because of the sloppy CGI and would look to be a poor plot in the trailers. But oh my, I was wrong. I was completely blown away by this episode. I love how throughout the episode, She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall and the comedy. Oh my, the comedy is amazing. I like how they use the comedy in the episode. In some parts, it's just Marvel comedy, but in others, it's just hilarious.
I want to start off by saying I love this first episode so much. The characters were amazing in my opinion. I don't care for Smart Hulk, but he was surprisingly good in this episode. Jen herself was an amazing character with amazing scenes. The scene where she explained to Bruce that she always has to hide her emotions is so powerful, and it really makes you feel bad for the character. Like I always say, feeling emotion towards the characters is great. You can connect with them more and understand them easier and get on their level. The character writing for Jen and Hulk is incredible in this episode. This is something that the MCU definitely has gotten better with, Eternals being some of the worst character writing I've ever seen in the MCU. But now the characters are starting to become more and more believable and relatable.
Honestly, I overall really enjoyed this first episode of She-Hulk, and it gives me a lot of hope for the later episodes of the series as a whole. I was especially pleasantly surprised because I was not expecting the series to start off so well, since just by looking at the trailers, I wasn't too excited for the series. This was probably due to the fact that the CGI looked kind of rough around the edges when I saw it for the first time, and it certainly turned me away from looking further into it. However, I'm definitely happy I still gave it a shot, since the story, characters, and scenes were filmed so well. The CGI certainly looked much better than I was expecting it to, with Hulk looking absolutely amazing. Though She-Hulk herself didn't look the best, it was still passable when given the rest of the CGI in the show as a whole.
This episode has amazing comedy, pacing, and plot, with the plot especially being incredible. The fourth wall breaks are an amazing addition to this episode and completely fit the show itself. While watching, I felt the pacing was just perfect from beginning to end. It never felt like it dragged out or went too fast. It was just consistent throughout. Hulk was especially such a great character when it came to the comedy, in my opinion.
Just based on what we have said so far, it should be pretty clear that we enjoyed this episode as a whole, which of course merits pretty high scores. Max, Zinx, and I rated this episode of She-Hulk with a 9 out of 10, which of course means that the combined scores for this episode was a 90%. This, at least in my opinion, is a great score for this episode, though I do think it wouldn't hurt for it to be slightly higher, but it would be kind of awkward to give it a 9.2 or 9.3. Really, the only complaint I have for this episode, and a mild one at that since most of it looked fantastic, was the CGI, and since all other attributes of the episode like the story, characters, and scenery were so strong and greatly done, it deserves a high score.
Overall, this is a great first episode to introduce Jen and her story. Seeing the backstory of how she got her abilities was pretty funny, and not to mention all of those fourth wall breaks. This episode will give you laughs, action, and definitely a lot of Hulk. The music is amazing, and the story is extremely character driven. If you're a big Marvel fan, I would not skip out on this show. Even if you like to watch Marvel casually, this is definitely an enjoyable and funny episode that anyone can have fun with.
So with that being said, that has been our review of She-Hulk Episode 1. Remember that this is just our opinion, so you don't necessarily have to believe everything that's said here.
Come back soon for more reviews or browse existing ones on the channel. Make sure you check out our Twitter for sneak peeks and updates on future projects.
We hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and if you enjoyed, you could like or subscribe to help us out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.